You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, and Ryan's here.
Hi.
Great episode last week. Thanks for listening. If you didn't listen to it, it's one of those episodes that's just so damn. I really think it's amazing. And I've gotten so many. In fact, Jason Isaacs, who that interview is going to come up early next year. Lucius Malfoy and the Patriot. He was the bad guy and great actor. I worked with in Sweet November. He said, "I just love the." I'm not going to do an English accent. I just love the episode with Tim Omenson and Selma Blair. It really was. It was touching. And so if you haven't listened to this last week's episode, go back and listen to that one. I think you'll really dig it. And yeah, it's nice when you do an episode that, touches people in a certain way.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And kudos to, of course, Ryan, my amazing editor, for putting it together,
It was moving to watch again. Well, actually, because I sit over here and I can't see what they look like and I can only just hear it, but it's sort of like, yeah, it's a new experience getting to see what they look like and how it's being delivered.
Yeah. So real quickly, a big shout out. You guys came to my concert, our band Sunspin. We played on stage at which we do last Saturday of every month, 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. shows Pacific Standard Time. It was a packed crowd. It was great. We did Zooms. We played music. And the big winners, give a shout out. Here it is. Claudine Newman, Top Bidder, Team Rogue Flask, and Shannon Hagerman. Shannon and Claudine, thank you guys so much for supporting the music, supporting the podcast. And also a very big shout out, because I forgot to give a shout out to this person who had won Top Bidder for the Stagets a couple of weeks ago. And that's Leanne Pritchett. Leanne Pritchett. Is that a big enough shout out for you? Thank you so much. Clap hands, clap hands. Yeah, my mom used to sing clap hands till daddy comes home. Daddy has money and mommy has none. That's what she used to sing.
Oh
and then
God.
She used to sing, do you want your real mother to come? And I'll leave. And I was like, that's kind of mean.
What?
We don't have to get into the psychology of that. I want everybody to know that when you go to Inside of You store and you get like wine glasses or shirts or whatever on the Inside of You online store, I box all that shit up. And my patrons who are in the top tiers, they get merch every 3 months. So I pack a box of goodies and I write a little note, personalized, and a little something extra this time. But I freaking packed 30 boxes, 80 envelopes. I mean, hours. I want you to know how much I dig you, and I appreciate the patrons. If you want to join patreon.com, Patreon, patreon.com/inside of you, and join Patreon. It's amazing. I always write you a little note after you join, and there are many different tiers, and you get to ask questions to guests and things like that, and Inside of Me, where you ask me questions, and occasional Zoom, and lots of cool things, lots of great things, and so join Patreon. But thank you all patrons. I packed it up. I took it to the post office. I stood in line for 40 minutes and I did it all. So clap hands for me, Ryan. Clap hands for me. What are, for subscribing, what should they do? I hope you guys all subscribe. Please, I say it every week, but it really helps the show. So subscribe on YouTube or go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, all those things you could also. But it helps when you subscribe and listen to the show, Ryan.
And go to @InsideOfYouPod on Twitter, @InsideOfYou Podcast on Facebook and Instagram.
That is correct, my friend. That is
Instagram.
correct. By the way, the band Sunspin, we're working on our logos. We just had a photo shoot, and we're gonna have sites put, the Instagram and all that stuff put up soon, and I'll let you know about it. But look out for it. Our music's coming along. We've got like 10 songs. The album's gonna probably be done hopefully in the next month, and then we got to make CDs and stuff like that and all this other stuff. We're really pumped. It's a lot of fun, and we're gonna have some merch and stuff eventually as well. So and a big shout out to all the patrons out there who support the show, who give extra support, and thank everybody for listening. So a great guest today. I've known him for a long time, but he you know him from Serenity and Firefly and Castle, and been everywhere. And it was a real joy talking to him finally. And one of those guys I've known for a long time, but I really don't talk to very much.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a joy talking to him, and a lot of people wanted me to get him on the show, and it's taken me a long time. But finally, he said yes. And I think you guys are going to really enjoy this episode. It's called Inside of You.
Mm-hmm.
This is Nathan Fillion. Let's get inside of the great Nathan Fillion. It's my point of view. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum was not recorded in front of a live studio audience. When I call about you, I just can't get in my mind. I just can't get enough.
Just can't get enough.
You son of a bee, Nathan Fillion. Look at your mustache is perfect.
You know what? It's my first. I'm nearly 50 years old. I turned 49 this spring. It's my first mustache ever. And right now, I mean, nobody sees it. It's just for shock value when I first see my friends for the first time in a little while. They go, oh.
Well, I was going to say, why do you look so much more handsome than me? But there's a reason for that, because you are. But B, your camera system. One thing about Nathan that you don't know is many years ago, I was at his house on I lived on Hillside, Studio City, and you lived right near me. And I remember talking. I go, yeah, I just shot this wiffle ball game video because my friends and I am playing Indiana. You go, well, come to my house. Let's edit it. I'm like, oh, what? And we sat down at your computer for, I think it was like 10 hours.
Well, I said, we'll be done in like an hour and a half, 2 hours max. And we were there till, oh my God, it was after midnight. We were ordering food. We were drained. But I mean, it was, iMovie had just come out.
Yeah.
So you could do your own things, but you had to put in clips slowly because it couldn't handle vast amounts of
the rendering. Yeah.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. I miss you, and I've been doing all right. I talk about that. Everybody's going through their own shit, so it's like no one could complain. I mean, I'm very grateful. I've learned, and by the way, I think you're an example of that. You're someone who's always been incredibly grateful. The Nathan that I know is just always been very. I mean, when you come to even like a James Gunn will throw I'm name dropping, but we're mutual friends with him for a long time, and they'll have a gathering and you'll bring something over. You bring me a gift at a party. No one does that. Like I'll have an event and you'll come over and go, hey, this is for you. I got this. You're just so thoughtful, and I'm like, is he human?
That's something I got. My mom taught me that. But she says, if someone has invited you to their home, you bring the host a gift. You say, thank you. Thank you for having me in your home. Here's a little gift. It doesn't have to be much, but it's just to say, it's a something. It's a bottle of wine. It's whatever it is.
It goes a long way.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
She has a gift closet, by the way. So she doesn't have to go out and get one. She just goes to the closet. So I have a gift closet down the hall when I go to Michael Rosenbaum.
No, you don't. You have a closet with gifts there already that you're like, oh, Rosenbaum would like this. So how much time do you just accumulate a closet full of things?
Yeah, so I love gadgets and gizmos and things that are cool and make my life better. Just little things, little tiny things. And I say, that's a game changer. Oh my God, I never knew my iPhone cable is terrible because it's not 10 feet long. I need a 10-foot long iPhone cable.
I do too.
It's life-changing, man.
It really is. I'm on my, I sit,
You're tethered to wherever it's charging. If you have to get on something, it's like you're limited to where you can be. Well, get a little battery, a little something, anything. I say, I find something like that. And I just say, oh, this is amazing. This helps me. I'm going to buy 5 more and put them in the closet.
Wow. Maybe I should do that. Just have a closet full of presents for my family and friends. And oh shit, I forgot to give them this 2 years ago. Yeah. You ever done that?
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. I once sent something to my brother.
Jeff.
To Jeff. You met Jeff.
Of course. Love Jeff.
To give to my mom for something, and it didn't arrive in time. And so I got her something else. And I don't know how many months later, it was Mother's Day or her birthday. Like there's one or the other. And he's telling me on the day, oh, it's her birthday, Jeff. I forgot. What am I going to? And he goes, don't worry. I've got that thing in the closet that you ordered her from something. I've already have it wrapped and it's ready to go. Like he's clever too.
Well, man, your body of work is just like, Nate, you're always doing something. And it's hard to understand too. I envy you, not only because you work a lot. It's not about that. It's more about the energy. I look at like all the things you do and like you go from 7 seasons on Castle and I thought you'd learn your lesson and say, that's enough work. That's enough work. I was the lead. And then you go into the Rookie, and then you're doing all these other things. And is it that you love? I've asked this question every once in a while, but is it that you love the work so much that you just want to work, or is it that you don't want to be not working, or you don't like being alone? What is? Is there some kind of psychological thing there, or is it just you love work? I don't get it.
I am not the guy who has to spend all my time working. I like a balance. I do like a balance. I have been fortunate enough that there's been a couple of jobs that have kept me working for long periods of time. So it may appear from the outside that I really like to work. That's just luck of the draw of being on some jobs that tend to last a little while. That's not usually how it works. Which is you know that. How many years was Salt
Well, I did
Smaller?
7, but remember,
Oh, is that all?
Tom was in every episode. Like you were in every episode. So how do you have free time? Because the one thing, if I had 2 weeks off, I'd be worrying about my lines for the next script.
On Castle it was a little different because I didn't have a lot of time off, so I was really precious with my time off. I wasn't trying to work outside of Castle. As far as how do you remember your lines, my first gig was a soap opera,
All right.
and they
Days of
sent
Our
me to an
Lives, One
acting
Life to
coach.
Live.
One Life to Live.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yes, thank you.
And they sent me to an acting coach, and she said, "You already know how to act. I'm just going to teach you how to break down a script so you can remember your lines." And she taught me a way that I use to this day. I used to do it painstakingly, on paper and pen, and have to study and do those things. But now it's just a muscle.
Wait a minute. So there's a trick to the thing. There's a breakdown, a certain way to learn them that helps you. I mean, I just, no one ever taught me anything. I mean, I took acting classes and then I did a lot of plays, but I just went over and over and over and over and stressed myself out. There's an
Right.
easier way to do it. Something that's,
What is your process when you start with a character? Where do you start, and how do you get to your character? How do you find things? Like, what is you have a process, right?
yeah, I feel like, okay, this is what I want to do. And now once I feel like I got this, or sometimes I tend to learn the lines first and then find the character in the lines and learning. So it's a different thing, but I always am curious about how people do that. Because when you're on Castle and you're on Rookie and you're doing these movies, are you the guy that wakes up and they're like, Nathan? Do they say Nate or they say Nathan?
Both.
Okay. Do they say, can I get you a coffee? And you're like, yeah. And then you learn lines right in the chair?
Yes. I'm reading the lines in the chair. Then you go in, you do a camera rehearsal, you do a couple rehearsals, like that, and you get a little bit of a layout. So that educates you. And then how other people are doing their lines and where that kind of life lives, that educates you a little bit. Then you go, okay, I got it now. And then you run it a couple more times as you're getting changed, and that's all you need, really. And then you're just running it and running it and running it. And if you make a mistake, they go back. It's not like you have to be amazing and perfect every time, all the time.
But there's got to be a speech that you have to give that, I might need to go over this the night before.
I won't lie to you. I had like a 3-page, it wasn't a monologue, but there was a lot to say. And it's a lot for even me. And I'm good at that part of it, but that was a lot. And at that point, you do feel some responsibility. If you make a mistake, you're the one holding things up. And that's just the one thing I never want to be, is the one people are waiting on. Just be ready. There's a lot of time in the day that you can use. When it's your time to work, just be ready.
Do you get frustrated with other people if they don't know their lines?
Listen, sometimes people get nervous and they don't have I have so much practice. I think folks come and their stakes are a little higher when they're a guest star. Sometimes their stakes get higher, and if they make a mistake, they feel terrible. And I say, hey, if you feel like super duper bad about messing up a line, it'll educate the crew that maybe I should start feeling bad when I mess up a line. And I don't want them to have that kind of expectation of me.
I believe that you do that because I've heard that you do that, where you've been on set and you're just very comforting to guest stars and things. And I've done that before too, because coming into someone's family and expecting to be, it's so intimidating. And I've been fortunate enough not to have to do that. So, not to be a guest star. I mean, every once in a while, but to come in on a show that's already rolling, let's go. And they're like, I have to be great. Here's Nathan Fillion. Yeah. Shit, he's the lead. He's watching me. I have to impress him.
Well, I can't tell you what they're thinking. I do know that to be a guest on a show is an art. It's like being a guest in someone's house. You want to be relaxed. Listen, I want people to be relaxed in my home. When people come to my place of work, I want them to be relaxed there too, because that's when they're going to do their best work. When they feel like they can trust everyone enough there that they can try something and fail and it's okay, that's where I want them to be.
That makes perfect sense. Have you ever been one? Because you always seem together. You always seem like you have it going on. You're professional. You're kind. Have you been on sets or in the past? Have you freaked out? Have you gotten so nervous, or you can't get something, or you were so worked up about something? Any job where you're just like, I remember that and that was uncomfortable. Yeah. What was it?
Yeah. Saving Private Ryan. I had one job. I come in and go, yes. They say, your brothers are dead. And I have to cry. And that's all I have to do. That's it. Just do it. And I was just it was my first movie, and it's a World War II period piece, and they flew me to London, and I'm looking at the ticket, and the ticket costs more than I'm making to do the movie, and I just can't even understand. And the hotel I'm staying in is beautiful, and I've never been to London before, and the time change. I was beside myself. Everything's going on, and there's all these huge movie stars around me, and they go go, and I'm supposed to okay cry, and I couldn't.
Well, can't they blow vapor in your eyes?
I'm sure they can, but this is a Steven Spielberg movie. I'm not interested in cutting any corners. I'm really not.
Did he come and talk to you like, Nathan?
Steven Spielberg came and took me aside, and he said, "Great job." And I said, I'm not even crying. I can't get there." And he said, "Listen, we're so far away on the lens. It doesn't matter. There's 5 of us in that video booth. We all bought it. What I'm hearing you saying is that wherever it is here, it's not coming out here, from the heart to the outside world. So let's talk about it." And he spends maybe 2-3 minutes talking to me about. I tell him my homework, and he says, "Okay, let's change this and this, and what if it's this? And now think about this, and now turn that camera of your mind's eye around, and who's looking at that?" And all of a sudden, oh my God, it's tragic and it's awful. And I start crying listening to him. He says, "You look ready. How do you feel?" And off we go. He couldn't stop me from crying. I cried 17 times that day.
That's so freaking weird because that was my first moment on a movie was I had to cry with Clint Eastwood.
What movie was that?
Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. And Clint Eastwood, the first scene, they ended up cutting the scene because they didn't really need it. But it was John Cusack, Kevin Spacey, Clint Eastwood's there. And I remember the same thing. I'm listening to Fleetwood Mac because it reminds me of something in childhood. And I'm trying to listen to music and get in the moment. I'm so into it. I'm so stressed. And I'm probably doing what you were doing, just kind of whatever, I got to get there. Spending hours on just to cry. And Eastwood comes up to me and he just sits next to me and he just starts pretending to cry. He just goes, and I look at him and I go, what are you doing? And he goes, well, I'm just trying to loosen you up, Michael. I go, why? He goes, just let it happen. It will happen. You just let it go. And when you're ready, we'll roll. That's it. It's not.
It amazes me that giant cowboy, that giant rock of a man is artsy.
Oh, and when I heard, he doesn't call action. He didn't. He looked at me and I looked at him and he just goes, he gave me a thumbs up and I gave him a thumbs up and he goes, Jack. Did the roll sign. Jack Green, the roll sign, and he started rolling camera. They moved in, did it, goes, well, how'd you feel? I go, I don't know, how'd you feel? He goes, well, I felt pretty good. And I go, you want another? But we're good. And we did another and that was it. It was just, and that says a lot. It says about 2 great directors. It says also back to what you're saying about with guest stars, comforting someone, just saying, hey, we're human. It's okay. Let's just do this. It's not as much pressure on you. You're capable. You're here for a reason. And when you're comfortable, you could do a lot more. When you're freaking out, it's hard to get the job done. So
I've guested in places where I look around and I say, the community here is broken. And I can't focus. All I can think about is just get me out of here. Let me do my lines, do my scene, let me go home. That's all I'm thinking about. Get me out. Get me out. I can't wait till I'm gone. And I'm not doing good work at that point. I'm uncomfortable. I don't trust anybody.
When has that happened?
Early in my career. Early on.
Wow. I mean, as a leader of a show, do you tend to just try to do, you've got to do your best to you got to be the leader. You got to try to have fun. If everything's tense, things aren't going to be as good.
I don't think it's even that much like you have to be a leader. You just have to be just be nice. Just be nice. Just be polite. Just be nice. Just be decent. Just be kind.
Well, you talked about your mom. She's kind. She's talking about gifts. Always bring a gift. Were your parents just really supportive and always behind you and just
Absolutely. They were dying for me to show interest in any direction. Honestly, when I was a kid, I had really no wants or thoughts about what they had no plan. And they were just always very, very encouraging. And if I found something that tickled me, they would encouraged me. Absolutely, yeah.
But you didn't want to be an actor at first. You wanted to be maybe did you want to be a teacher? Is that right?
Well, acting, it was a pipe dream. I mean, I was from Edmonton, Alberta. I was it's not a success-oriented career in the first place. Never mind in my hometown. There's just nobody's going to look at you and go, perfect, great plan. But I was already on the road to becoming a teacher. I felt if I have a degree, at the very least, no one can shake a stick at that. And so I was pursuing a degree, and then just before I graduated, the acting panned out. I moved to New York.
Were you popular in school? Athletic?
I looked athletic, but I was into comics. So there was the gap. I could bridge that gap. I hung out with all the kids at school. I had a great time in high school. I really enjoyed my high school experience. I met a lot of neat kids from all over the strata. I didn't stop at just one clique or.
Do you still talk to anybody from the old days, high school days?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I do.
Do people come out of the woodwork and say, "Hey, could you sign something for my brother?" Or do you get that sometimes?
I don't get a lot of that. No, I don't get a lot of that. I went to my 25-year high school reunion not too long ago. I think it was 25 years. They took a couple of years together. It was a small high school, and so they took a couple of years, and they said everybody we're having like a big reunion with all these years.
And what was that like?
Great. It was fantastic. It's just the people that I knew in high school. It was like this girl from my French class used to sit next to me in French class all the time. She came up to me. She goes, "Well, I know everything that's going on with you, so let me catch you up on me. I've got 2 kids. I'm married and and she just goes on, but she's hilarious, and she's just the same person she used to be. I enjoyed high school.
Were you single when you went to this reunion? Were there any single women that you're like, "Hey,
I'm
going to quit my acting degree. I'm going to move back to Alberta. I found her."
No, it wasn't. No, that wasn't that deal. No.
Most people were married, probably kids, married.
Yeah, I think so. I think most of them were, yeah.
But you had a good
That's
time.
what happens after high school. People typically they marry off and whatnot. Yeah, that haven't, just not me yet.
Inside of You is brought to you by Geico. Even an actor can do it, right? I mean, it's true. Geico is that easy. Geico is easy. I can do Geico.
That's impressive.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you remember those commercials? Even a caveman could do it. Even a Rosenbaum can do it.
Even a Rosenbaum can do it.
Even a Rosenbaum can do it. Geico. Geico, brought to you by. We know out there you either rent or you own your home. I mean, that's what we do, and it's always the hardest thing to do. And you know, it's actually easy, and it just is easier. The bundling policies with Geico. So, you know, you have auto insurance and homeowners or renters. I mean, you can combine them. Wouldn't it be easy if you could just you don't have to go separately, Ryan?
I think so.
Geico makes it freaking easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. Geico, it's a good thing because, you know, you already have so much to do around your house and all the holidays. Go to geico.com. Get a quote. See how much you could save. Geico Easy. It's Geico Easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com. Even a Rosenbaum can do it. Inside of You is brought to you by Mack Weldon. I wear their stuff constantly, and it's, you know, I've never been more comfortable. The underwear that I'm wearing is so comfortable. I have a mask, like one of those things that you put over your face, the neck things.
Oh, yeah.
They're so comfortable, and they look kind of cool. When it comes to holiday gifting for guys, I'll be the first to admit that it's not necessarily my strong suit. But now, thanks to Mack Weldon, it's easy, super easy. It's simple to find something great, no matter which guy you're shopping for. I'm a guy. I like very comfortable underwear and lounge pants and a light top. I want to feel like I'm naked. If I can't be naked, I want to feel comfortable, close to naked. Do you understand me? And I love their stuff. Mack Weldon has men's basics that are guaranteed to keep everyone on your list comfortable. And you know what makes Mack Weldon the perfect gift for guys? And I'll tell you, quality, comfort, versatility, style, shopping ease. It's very simple to just go to mackweldon.com, MACKWELDON.com, and just enter the promo code IOU and you're gonna get good stuff. You're gonna get 20% off your first order. It's the gift giving season, folks. They've got a loyalty program. Level 1 gets you shipping for life. Once you reach level 2, by spending $200, Mac Weldon gives you 20% off every order for the next year. This is pretty fantastic. Win the gift giving season. Get 20% off your first order. Visit macweldon.com/IOU. Enter the promo code IOU. What is that, Ryan?
macweldon.com/IOU. Promo code IOU for 20% off your first order.
That sounds pretty amazing. You should probably get to it. Thank you. What was the big thing you got that it lit up your parents' eyes? You could tell, like, whoa, holy crap, our son's done something right here.
So I was comparing stories with some friends a little while ago. When did you make it? When do you feel that you made it? Like, when was your, here I am? And
right.
For me, it was every next step I took. I thought, well, I made it, clearly.
One life to live. I've made it.
Yeah. And then I'd put something in the distance, like, if I can get on The Late Show with David Letterman, if I can get on David Letterman, I'll have made it. And then I did. It happened. A dream come true. I couldn't believe it. And then you set another goal and you say, if I I'll make it. Then I'll have made it.
I need to go to your psychiatrist, or if you don't have one, I need to go to you. I need to pay you to talk, because we just come from two different places. You know, when I first got my first show in LA, I thought I had made it. I drove cross country with all my guys. We wore overalls, and we said we're not changing our overalls till we hit Vegas. I had a Volkswagen bus.
The Midnight Runners.
I get we were Dexy Midnight Runners. What was the big hit? Come on, Arlene, in a Vanagon dream. So we changed all our clothes in Vegas, and we drove out there. And I go, I've done it, man. I this kid from small town went to New York, did some off Broadway shows, and now he's got a TV show. And I thought everything changes now. And I wasn't the lead. I was like the sixth lead. And I had, not that. Well, it was ranked like 130 out of 132. One of the worst shows on television. Well, and by the way, thank you. But here, and what's funny is it wasn't just no one paid attention to me. It was that my parents, my family, my own family would even talk shit about it. They would say, God, that show looks just awful, doesn't it? Did they shoot that on? What did they shoot that on? I'm like, video. I don't. It's like, oh my gosh, it's just the dialogue is just awful, isn't it? I'm like, oh my God, I have not made it. This is. And so I feel like I was always trying to get ahead. Like, okay, what about this show? Oh my God, we're on the subways, wherever. They canceled. So it's always like, and I find that now that I'm 48 years old, and I'm like, well, Michael, it's not about what you're doing. It's about how you feel inside and what you feel that you've done and your accomplishments. And what is that, Mr. Hand? What is it that you've done? I don't know why I started talking like that. But my point is, how do you differentiate? Do you get frustrated in the thought of like, oh, man, this didn't become this? Or, oh, in terms of how successful it is do you feel better when it's more successful? I mean, I don't know.
I see what you mean. Early on in my career, I had a couple of things happen that allowed me some perspective as far as managing expectations. So I hope for the best. I plan for the worst.
Listen, I'm doing that now. I have that attitude now. Finally, I go, hey, 150,000 people listen again this week. Great.
Right.
If they don't, right. I'm not. I'm just doing it. I love it. Whatever.
There's a few things that are within your control.
Yeah.
And there are some things that aren't. And if you can determine the difference and then just focus and just worry about the things that are within your control. Listen, I talk about it like it's easy. Oh, all you got to do is, but it's not easy. And you have to catch yourself all the time. And it's a constant process. But if it's outside of your control, let it go. If it's within your control, control it. If you want to do a great job on an audition, you can't control what they think, but you can control your part. You can control the audition. You can control your preparation. You can control your character choices. You can control, just be prepared. Yeah, just be prepared, man. If it's that important, be prepared. That's in your control.
Jesus. So it's so easy.
As far as success goes, How can you not look at your career and say, oh my God, How fortunate am I? I mean, make a list of all the actors in the industry and then just highlight the ones that have been on a television show for 7 years. The list becomes dramatically shorter. It's not easy. So you have already accomplished something that it's nigh impossible to do. And so much of that is outside of your control.
You didn't know that today was going to be therapy for me, did you? Because this is what the show is a lot of times. It's therapy for me. You know that.
I think all of us sometimes, I mean, I think we're as culturally, I think we are sort of told, hey, like, don't play it down a little bit. Just back up a little bit. When you talk about yourself, don't pump yourself up so much. Nobody wants to, it's bragging if you talk, but it's not bragging or egotistical or selfish in any way to take inventory of your accomplishments, what you have done and what you were able to do, and qualities that don't deny, oh, I'm not so nice. No, you know how kind you are. Take an inventory. You are where you are because of the choices you've made and the person you are. You are a success. And sometimes it's important that we do take those inventories. And I think that's what we're doing right now. We're just taking a little inventory.
Yeah. Thank you. Do you get anxiety? Have you suffered from any depression? Have you dealt with things that you have to get help for?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh,
As a
good.
kid,
I mean, not good,
I
but
had that seasonal disorder where I get depressed in winter. If I don't see sun for a long time, I just, it takes me physically. It pulls me down. Now they have those beautiful lights, these full spectrum lights that if you're in Vancouver for months at a time when it's raining, turn on one of these lights a couple times a day, get your vitamin D, get your,
you
just
have
make
those
sure.
lights.
Oh, heck yeah, you do.
God bless. I'm gonna get the lights from you. I'm gonna get the setup for the,
I
you
got
know.
them in the gift closet.
I mean, but when you get depressed, when you get anxiety, where does your mind go? Do you get like, what do you get down on yourself? Do you get down on like, why am I here? Do you get existential? What is it that gets you down, and what do you do about it?
I'll worry and I'll stress and I'll close off a little bit and I'll withdraw. I'll be cranky and I'll withdraw. Um, it just takes a little time because I can't spend too much time like that. Uh, it's that sense of what am I going to do now? You only spend so much time in that question until you say, well, I've got to do something. And you start doing something. And it's when I start doing something that I feel better. I was stressed out. It's a pandemic. We are all incredibly stressed out right now. And to deny that would be silly, but people are stressed. I'm stressed. Building this facility to help me continue to work, to help me. I actually sat here and had drinks with my brother and my good buddy in Canada just last night. We just sat around for 4 hours doing this. I built this so I could do these things. It settles me a bit. A project, cleaning. Oh my God.
Are you
Cleaning my
OCD?
house?
Are you OCD? Do you like things really clean?
I am not OCD. I am the opposite. I collect. I start. I'm not going to say I'm a hoarder, but boy, I'll look at stuff and I'll go, "That's clutter. That's just clutter." I got to go through that and say, I don't have an emotional attachment to any of these things, but it's still good stuff. But it's got to go to like a Goodwill or something. That's got to
Right,
go
right.
off. This is just garbage. These things I can organize, and now I feel fresh. But that's time consuming.
Well, you were a comic book collector, right? You loved comics growing up. Now, many guests have commented on like, oh, like a jerk poster, and it's autographed, and this. I have autographed things and pictures, and most of them, 99% of them, are like, I don't do that. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, I don't. Why do I ask somebody I'm working with, or why do you need autographs? It's just something I think I don't know why, but I love that. Do you get autographs? Do you get pictures? You are like that?
I've got a bit of a collection, things that ring inside me as far as that make my heart move. I've got my Chewbacca autograph, my R2D2, my Marty and Doc Brown autograph. I got my Batman and Robin, the Adam West and I'm sorry, forgetting Dick Ward's name, the Robin character. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
I'm so embarrassed. But the old timey one. Uh, I've got some souvenirs from my different films that I've been in. I purchased a home about a little over 10 years ago, and it had a a trophy case. And I thought, what am I going to do with it? I know exactly what I'm going to do with this. And now all my movie memorabilia are in this like lit mirrored cabinet. Looks like
I remember that because I remember coming to your house for something and you walk in the front door and there it was. And I was like, good for him. I'm usually hiding this shit in my podcast room because I try to prove to everybody when they come to my house that I'm a fucking adult. Look, it's a living room. There's no pictures of there's no posters. There's no figurines. Just don't go in the podcast room or my office or maybe downstairs. But other than that,
you haven't moved. You're in the same house.
Same house.
Brother. Okay, we're still very close by. That house is sort of like a cabin. It's sort of like a castle, and it's sort of like a treehouse.
Yeah, it's kind of fitting.
Your house has adventure written all over it.
I do love it. I'm always thinking, because during this time, and I don't know what's going on, I'm getting in this phase where I'm like, I want to get away. I want to, like, people are starting to leave, and I'm not saying like leave LA. And like, well, I'm just more like, I need nature. I've been watching that show Alone on the History Channel, and I had a guest on here.
Same way. What are you looking for? Beach or mountains?
I think I want, like, I like a view in the back or trees or maybe a lake in the back, some water. So like I was looking at Big Bear actually, because it's like somewhat reasonable. And you go out there and it's nice and maybe snow in the winter. And, I don't know. I wonder if it's just all midlife crisis shit. Like, oh, you got to get out. You're not. And I think you don't think so?
I don't think that is. I have been eyeing property in Canada for years. And now I'm actually seriously pursuing it. It's like, it's time. It's time. I'm going to look now with, some seriousness, and it's something I've always wanted to do. I don't think I'll retire and live in Los Angeles. I don't think I will. I think I will retire and live my summers in Western Canada and my winters somewhere warmer. And that's my plan.
I hate to be that guy, and I don't think I am, but I don't know how healthy LA maybe is for me. I've got my own kind of thing, and I'm able to write and do. But I'm like, well, you could do a podcast, you could write, you could put yourself on tape, you can go to meetings, you could do whatever you want. You can come back in, you could fly in, you could Zoom if you want. Maybe my health. I'd feel just better if I was just around nature more. I know it's probably true.
We have to. For some people, I have a friend who just absolutely abhors nature. He wants the city life. He wants a suburb. He wants sky rises. It's variations of urban is what he can handle. If he's out camping and there's like a skitter of a creature, it's like, I'm out. There's animals out here. It's like he can't handle it. I want to breathe in that air. I want to see the mountains, the lake, the ocean, whatever it might be. I want to recharge like that. I want my bare feet on the ground or in the water. I want that. I want that recharge. I think that's natural.
I know. I see that. I remember just seeing pictures and things that you do with your brother. You go on these excursions. You're so close, and you go to scuba diving. I can't go to scuba. I can't go scuba diving. I'm scared. Ever since the pilot episode of Smallville, when we had to get scuba certified, and I had to go under 12 feet of water and they put like weights on me, and then Clark had to come save me. I freaked out being underwater so much, and I just feel claustrophobic, and it scares me that I'm going to have one of those. I'm not smart enough. I feel like, are you there? You're there. That I'm going to go down.
Sorry, I'm frozen.
I'm going to go down. I'm going to go down a certain level, and you have to decompress or whatever. The pressure. I worry about that, and I'm like, oh my God, did I do that? I'm going to end up killing myself. It's scary, scuba diving, is it not?
Well, certainly if you're claustrophobic and it's triggering claustrophobia, yeah, that would be scary. I'm scared of drowning. I'm terrified of drowning, but I'm not scared of scuba diving.
How about snorkeling? That seems pretty cool.
That's the closest thing to being in another world that I've ever experienced. That's another planet. It's like you have abilities. You can fly around, and I love the ceremony of it. I love the travel. I love seeing things. I have the opportunity, and I love making memories like that. And I think it's one of the most fantastic things I can do with the money I've earned is, one thing is plan for the future. That's a big thing for me. Plan for the future and make memories, enjoy memories.
Do you want to, like, listen, I'm 48. I feel like I could ask you this. You're 50. I've been alone.
49, mister, back it up.
49. Sorry, you're 49. I'm very grateful. You're grateful. We're all, but my grandma, maybe it's because my grandma's chirping in my ear, and she has been. She goes, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? You'd be such a good dad. You'd be such a good, A, do you hear this from your mom? And B, do you really think you want to get married and have kids, or you want to get married? Have you thought, or do you think, you know what? I like being alone and being in relationships every once in a while, and that's how I think I am wired.
As far as my parents' expectations, I think uh, my parents understand that their choices and their schedule uh, was good for them and right for them uh, at their time when the world was a certain way and when their choices were what they were. Uh, my the world around us, you and I, right now, is different. Our industry is different. I'm a little displaced. There's a lot of things that are a little bit different, but I think my parents understand that I am not in the same world or on the same schedule. So, and they already have two spectacular grandkids that they're really really pleased with. So that took a lot of pressure off.
That's good. But do you think, like, do you ever look in the future and go, you know, maybe I'll get married someday, or I don't know why. Why do I have to get married? Why you just be with someone, or do you feel that kind of pressure or societal shit?
I don't feel pressure, man. And as far as what's going to happen in the future, I mean, I look at my life and I think I never once imagined my life would be exactly what it is right now. This is the dream for me. I was locked up in Canadian winters, depressed as a kid, going, "This is really rotten. I wish I could ride my bike in some sunshine." And now I live in Los Angeles. I pretend for a living. Um, we make believe. I mean, boil it down. It's we get together and we do really high quality make believe. I love my job. I love hanging out, meeting people like you, Michael. I'm going to change the subject really quick.
It's a good call.
I was just thinking about you when I was just thinking about us just hanging out as I was getting ready for this podcast. And I have known you for over 20 years.
Yeah.
I can't remember where we met.
I was going to ask you that question too to start off.
I've known you for so long.
Well, you were doing a guy, girl in a pizza place.
Two guys go to a pizza place, and you were doing Smallville.
No, I was doing the show that didn't do very well. I talked about earlier, and then I was
What was
doing
it
a show
called? You
called.
wanna tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it was called the Tom Show. He knows it was bad. It was Tom Arnold, Ed McMahon. I mean, but I had a great time. I was right next to Ed McMahon's trailer. He had a Bentley, and I had a Volkswagen bus, 1982. And every day he'd go, "Indiana, how are you, sir?" And I go, "Pretty good, Ed. I was so cold last night." I would do a Carson, and he would go, "How cold was it?" I go, "So cold, I saw Robin putting his worm in the microwave." Weird, wild stuff, Ed. And he would laugh, and he would sleep during rehearsals, and it was just a treat, man. And I loved it. It's a shame that you see what I do. I'm remembering great moments, but the moments that take me out of it are moments that judge me or judge the show that I'm on. It's not living in the moment. It's worried about other external things. That I just put that together. So I just told you a funny moment, some great times. I used to take a go-kart, ride the Universal rides. I had so much fun. If I think about it, it was probably one of the best times of my life. But I allow other external piece of shit show. What is this doing? What is this? No one likes it. My family's rude. To affect the way I feel.
Listen, I read an article that said, "What's the difference between lucky people and unlucky people?" And they said it was perspective.
Well, that's what I said.
My grandmother, one of her favorite sayings, if you said, "Oh, well, this happened, that wasn't very good," like, you give her some bad news, she goes, "Well, at least you got legs." She would say stuff.
Right?
At least you got legs.
Hey, are you friends with Justin Trudeau?
I met Justin Trudeau one time. It was a charity event. This is before he was prime minister. It was a charity event, and it was a pickup hockey game. And he had just got checked up against the boards, and I was kind of right there. And he's getting cracked, and everybody's laughing. He laughs. He looks at me and he goes, "Hey, oh hey, I know you." And then he continued and went off and played hockey. And then I got to meet him a little later on at a dinner, and he was a very pleasant man. Very pleasant man. So we met the one time.
All right. So, because the internet says, "Oh, he's
all
friends."
Canadians are friends. And you know what really killed me one time is I told somebody where I was from. They said, "Oh, hey, do you know?" And come on, man. I'm not going to know your Canadian friend. And it turned out I knew their Canadian friend.
You really knew their Canadian friend.
One time someone said, "Oh, I'm from Canada." I said, "Oh, where are you from?" In Canada. And they, "Oh, you would never have heard of it." They didn't know I was Canadian. I said, "Try me." And they said, "I'm from Boyle, Alberta." And I said, "Well, tell me this. Do Brad and Scotty and their family still own the general store and hotel in Boyle?" And she, "How do you know that?"
Yeah.
Their mom was my mom's best friend. We used to go out to Boyle, Alberta, and they owned the general store, which was connected to the hotel, and then that was where we would stay. And we have these adventures out in the country. And it just so happened I knew her hometown intimately.
By the way, there's a town called Dildo, Newfoundland. Did you know that?
I don't know there is. And Come by Chance.
Come by chance?
Come by Chance.
There's a come by chance and a dildo.
And Fairyland.
Fairyland?
Kilbride.
Well, by the way, in Canada, do they really say, "We're going for a rip there, bud? You want to go for a rip?"
It is said. I mean, my buddies didn't say that much.
They didn't say rips?
Yeah. I mean, some people would say that, yes, yeah.
I know Looney and Toonie and Took, and yeah, I have a lot of Canadian friends.
You know what a hoser is?
Yeah, what is a hoser? I know the word. Hey, hoser from.
Yeah, if you were playing hockey with your friends and you lost, the losers of the game would have to hose down the ice to make it fresh for the next. Yeah. So
a hoser's
if you're doing a pickup game with just you've been making an ice rink, in your backyard, and you're having hockey games with your buddies, you don't have a Zamboni, so you just re-hose the ice. So hosers are the losers of the game. You lost the game, you're a hoser.
Inside of You is brought to you by Blue Chew. I don't know about you, Ryan, but I'm 48 and I could lose a boner. I don't care. I'll tell you. I mean, it's just the facts. I mean, a lot of people won't get private. I don't. I'm a human. I go to therapy. I have flaws. Sometimes I need a little help in the old bedroom. You're not alone, is what I'm trying to say. It's not an embarrassing thing. These are things that every urologist or whatever talks to their patients about, and they're like, the patient's always like, "Oh, well, my bones aren't as strong as they was like." And he's like, "Do you think they haven't heard this? Get the only sildenafil and tadalafil chewables by visiting BlueChew.com. If you like sex, you'll love BlueChew.com. I love BlueChew.com. BlueChew.com offers men a performance enhancement for the bedroom. And at BlueChew.com, you can get the first chewables. That's pretty awesome. With the active ingredients, sildenafil, tadalafil, same ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, BlueChew.com.
BlueChew.com affiliated physicians work with you to find the dosage and active ingredient that is best for you.
Yeah, and this is something for me. I always was like, do I need to eat a steak before I have this, or empty stomach? Here's a great thing. The chewables from BlueChew.com can be taken on a full or empty stomach. Online physician consult is free. It's cheaper than the other ones, the Viagras and the Cialises. It's cheaper. Why wouldn't you go to BlueChew.com? It takes a few minutes to connect with a BlueChew.com affiliated physician, and if you qualify, you get prescribed online quickly, ships directly to your door in discreet packaging. The chewables from BlueChew.com are made in the USA. You and your partner will love it. Chew it. Do it.
Visit BlueChew.com and get your first order free when you use the promo code INSIDE.
Just paying $5 for shipping. That's BLUE Chew.com, promo code INSIDE. BlueChew.com, promo code INSIDE. Hey, this real quick is called Shit Talking with Rosenbaum. It's really Shit Talking with Nathan Fillion. It's for my patrons. They're awesome. They get to ask some questions. Rapid fire, you just ask them how it is. Lisa Hall, Flask Girl, is it true that when you weren't the first pick for the role of Firefly and originally Joss wrote the character with Nicholas Brendan in mind, but scheduling conflicts gained you the role?
Not true.
Not true.
Not to my knowledge.
There you go.
If that was true, Nicholas never told me.
Raj, Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog is one of my favorite musicals of all time. I even dressed as Captain Hammer for Halloween one year.
Raj, you have excellent taste.
For the love of all that is holy, please tell me there has been progress on putting together a sequel.
I have heard the title of a sequel. That is the extent of what I've heard about.
D. Kent, what was it like to work with Sarah Michelle Gellar and David Boreanaz during the last episode of Buffy, and do you still keep in touch with them?
Oh my goodness. So I met Sarah Michelle Gellar when we were both young soap stars. She worked down the street on All My Children while I was on One Life to Live. So I'd met her a couple of times. I knew her already socially. And then David Boreanaz I had met through actually Nicholas Brendan before their huge. Well, actually, they were all just having great success on Buffy at the time. And when I went to guest on Buffy, I'd already had a couple of dinners with David and known Sarah Michelle since the mid '90s.
Did you ever date Sarah Michelle Gellar, Nathan?
No, never once.
I don't know if I believe you, but Liliana Jimenez, what has been your favorite character to play? The one character you're like, I know you have a lot of them. I mean, it could be Firefly, it could be Castle, it could be, there's a million, but what is the one?
It's really hard to when someone says, what is your favorite, what is the ultimate, it changes daily, so I'm going to just kind of do a gradient here.
Okay.
Malcolm Reynolds was indeed an incredible character to play. I had a list of things I wanted to do as an actor. I wanted to shoot a gun. I wanted to ride a horse. I wanted to, there's all sorts of things I wanted to do on TV. A friend of mine and I just sat down and made our lists. And everything I wanted to do on TV, I got to do in the first episode of Firefly. And I had to come up with an entirely new list. So as an actor, as a human being, I was a cowboy, I was a spaceman, I was shooting guns, I was kissing lady. There was just no end to the incredible fun that show was. However, short-lived. I wish I knew then what I know now. I think I could have done more. You look back and you go, now I know different. I know differently how to deal with that choice or what have you. So you try not to go too deep into that. Now on Castle, I had years, close to a decade, with which to become intimately connected with a character. Yes, he becomes more and more like a goofy me with every passing month, but there was a lot of freedom there to improvise. There was a lot of freedom to try things. Castle was very entertaining. He was very childlike. So comedy was, I got to have we did a lot of comedy. We weren't considered a 1 hour drama, yet we weren't a comedy.
Go figure. How do you explain? All right, so I understand what you're saying, that you've played many characters, but it sounds like, those two characters really.
There was some incredible value in those characters. At the same time, I'd never sung like that for the public in such a way. So Captain Hammer, yes. There was, what can I say? Everything I've done has such a value for me. It's how to pick.
Ray Ass. I just wanted to do that. Ray Asselin. I wanted to cough in between ass and Alin.
I bet he'd never guess that.
I'm immature. Will he be playing Green Lantern again?
Will I be voicing him? Probably. I wouldn't say no. They are very kind about inviting me in to go and do those things every once in a while. And if it works, I always jump at it.
Lisa Williams, did you keep any props or wardrobe from the Firefly set?
Absolutely.
What'd you keep?
I have one of our walkie-talkies from Firefly. I have my holster and my gun. I have not the original coat, but someone made me a mock-up coat of Malcolm Reynolds' brown coat. What else do I have? Some of the gold bars. We had these gold bars that turned out to be protein bars. I had a couple of those. Some Firefly money.
You're like me. I keep everything. My castmates always make fun of me. Oh, Rosenbaum's going to take that. Wendy Feldblum. I just have to read this one. First thought, oh my God, Nathan Fillion. Can I be your cougar? No need to ask, but total first thought. So there it is, just like that. Wendy, thank you. Dave P. Plavi, any chance for another Serenity movie? Get Joss back to his roots?
I would like that.
You'd think it was a no-brainer.
There's always a chance. I've learned, never say never.
I never have expectations. I'm learning from this conversation, Nathan. Steph Alexander, can you give us any clues about your TDK character in Suicide Squad?
Clues. Yeah. probably not the first guy you'd want to call on in an emergency.
Oh, I like that.
And looks remarkably young for his age.
This sounds like a fun role.
Oh my God. Listen, here's another thing I think is fantastic about this industry. Now, getting started is not easy and it's not fun all the time. Not every experience can be pleasant. And sometimes you have to wade through a little bit of garbage to get to the good stuff. And as you elevate in projects, the level of professionalism I think comes up too. So when you're swimming down at the bottom, I think you kind of encounter a little kind of crap here and there. But boy, oh boy, as you build up, you meet people along the way, and everybody continues to keep on going up. And these relationships continue, and you watch people build their careers, and they say, "Hey, let's work together again."
Yeah.
I was in one of James's first films. I learned so much from working with James Gunn. And one of the most important things I think I learned was I'll work for this guy anytime. I will work for him anytime. And I have.
Me too. Yeah. No, I love him. I mean, it's just, I was supposed to do a small part on Suicide Squad, and I was so bummed because I just had neck surgery, and I was like so bummed I couldn't do
Yeah,
it. I just
know.
always want to go
It was
play.
TDK, and I got it. Thank you very much for that.
I don't think it was TDK. It wasn't
It was.
the name. No, it was
He
a
told
different.
me. He told me that
That's not true.
Rosie couldn't make it, so too bad. But you're the best. I'm
Sorry,
glad we got
Rosie. Because we knew James when he was like, I knew him. Well, you known him since before Slither. I think I've known him for quite a while, but like,
Well, Slither is where we met, James and I.
You met on Slither.
We met on Slither. I auditioned for Slither, and I said, "Where are you going to film?" And he said, "Oh, we're going to go up to Vancouver." I said, "Oh, great, I'm Canadian." He said, "Really?"
Well, that was it. We'll save money. He'll live there. Matthew Jackson, do you approach motion capture acting differently from traditional acting? Buck from Halo comes to mind as they use your likeness and voice.
That was very interesting. I only did a couple of motion capture scenes. That's kind of distracting. Thank God. Oh my God, the gentleman, I'm forgetting his name. He's brilliant. He played Luke Cage in the TV series. What was his name?
Ryan?
And in Halo, he's
Mike what? Coulter?
Mike Coulter, thank you very much. What a polite gentleman. What a classy guy. One of those guys who understands work and has it locked down. He knows how to do his job. So we're wearing these weird headgears with dots painted all over our faces and trying to have this like totally serious conversation. Like, it was odd and distracting and something I'd never experienced before. So thank God for him, because boy, he can really bring the gravitas. He brings it down, man. He is, everything he says is carved in stone. It's great. But I only had to do a couple of scenes. After that, they put you in a rig with 36 cameras, and they make you do all these different expressions and then all these different sounds. Make an E sound like you're happy, make an E sound like you're angry, make an E sound like you're sad. And all the vowels, you got to run them all through, and they learn how to puppeteer your face with all these dots and all these cameras. And then they go in and they do that later for it.
So you don't have to. I mean, do you act it out? Do you act things out?
A couple of scenes I did, but the rest of them I didn't.
Wow.
They're literally puppeteering.
Leanne Pritchett, who are your personal heroes, Nathan?
I will say that my brother and my dad, my parents, these are people, we look at our parents and I think we take them for granted all the time. But if you can take a step back and see your parents for the human beings, the people that they are, you see their sacrifice, see what they've done, see what they've built, take inventory for them, understand their journey a little bit. I'm really impressed with I think I'm a good guy. I'm really impressed by my brother, and his kids are phenomenal. When I would look at all this that my parents have built, I'm incredibly impressed. I really like my family. I like hanging out with my family. That wouldn't be possible without my parents' guidance. They made sure of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's deep. It's something I can't really relate to, but sort of with my grandparents. My grandparents, they were that. They definitely were. Just always, people are always welcome there. It was so easy to hang out with them. They were just even keeled, supportive. Yeah, that's huge.
Solid.
Last
Solid.
question here from the shit talk and Nancy Davis. What is a role you drop everything to play? And I'm going to add to that a role you drop everything to play, or a director that you haven't worked with that you would drop everything to work with.
I'm so terrible at this game because I'm so bad with the names.
It's not a game. This is
The
serious.
Grand Budapest Hotel. Who?
Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson.
Thank you, Wes Anderson. Thank you. I would do any Wes Anderson. Who would
You would be perfect in a movie like that. I'm looking at you now and I could just see you in a movie like that.
I love their kind of dramatic, underplayed honesty. It's almost like school play kind of honesty. It's so subtle and yet obscure and odd. I just love the tone of those films. I mean, who wouldn't you work for? Who wouldn't you work for? There's so many people I would love to. I'd love to work with Clint Eastwood. I would love to work with Tom Cruise. I would love to work with Ben Affleck. I would love to work with, I name it.
How about Ryan Reynolds?
Let me tell you something. I am so happy for that guy. Ryan is one of those people who has always just been deserving. Ryan has always been deserving. He works really hard. He works really, really hard. He is no stranger to dedication. And he's always been kind. That's just when I see people succeed, it's amazing that people can succeed. If people have that kind of success and they're deserving of it, I just feel like something's right with the world. And I love and I marvel looking at what that man has built and who he continues to be to this day. What a gem.
Yeah, he seems that way. And you guys, do you still keep in touch?
Yeah, he's a wonderful guy. He's a wonderful guy.
Wow. You know, what do you think the end game is for you? Like, do you see yourself one of those guys that's 94 years old having a stroke on the set and that's how it ends? Or do you retire, and go move out to the middle of nowhere and you disappear at the age of 70?
You know, you said earlier that you have no interest in running away from LA or anything like that, and nor do I. But there will come a time when it's time for us to leave, when there will be nothing left for us here. Or if they need us, they can just call us. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what we really need is a Nathan Fillion type. Is he still acting? Because I know he's really old. And they can just call me and say, hey, would you be willing to come and do something here? Or if it's a voiceover, I can do it from wherever I am. And because I'll be set up, you know I will. But my plan is to, like I said, I was interested I am interested I'm from Canada. And Western Canada is some of my favorite places in the world are in Western Canada. So I'd like to retire with a place there, but I'd also like a place off in Europe, somewhere a little warmer. I'd like a place somewhere south where I could do some easy scuba diving. I would like to have little places that I frequent and just go between, travel with my brother, with my family, we'll all be retired or just whatever. I want to have like a kind of a coast and just call me when you need me.
How long is the mustache going to stay on?
It's a love-hate relationship. Have you ever done a beard or a mustache?
I've had little beards and things. My mustache it's kind of blonde, so it kind of looks funky. I don't look. I mean, that's rich. That's sort of Tom Selleck back in the day, rich,
Thanks,
very.
man. And I just trimmed it back. It was really low. It was covering my entire bottom. I didn't know I could grow a mustache. So a little bit's a thrill. I'm gonna tell. It's a love-hate relationship right now. I'm gonna be honest. It gives me something to do and to think about that's not the pandemic, and I'm just kind of all for that. I've got all sorts of little hobbies and goofy things I'm doing. Michael, I can't even tell you. Just stuff that entertains me when I go, look what I did. Well, how long did that take you? All told, probably, 36 hours, but you don't do it in one sitting. You just spread it all out. But this is the goofy stuff I'm doing.
Are you filming things? Are you filming Rookie?
Not right now, no. The plan is to go back in the end of September, but we'll see how that works out. We're trying to make it safe.
Do you think it's going to change in terms of like all the stuff that happened, with the, just the movement and everything with the police and all that? Do you think there's going to have to do a lot of writing to sort of cater to that, to be of what's happening today? Do you think that's going to happen with the show?
Well, we've always tried to be an aspirational show. And I think that makes us a little different as far as cop shows go. We're trying to be just a little more. I guess what we're trying to. I mean, I hate to speak for the show, but in trying to be a little more truthful with police shows. We are, although trying to be aspirational, understanding and realizing now that the experience that we are depicting is not everyone's experience. We are trying to do what is right as we all as a culture are educating ourselves and learning as to what is the right thing to do. And that's our goal.
What are you watching right now? What are you binging?
What?
What are you binging?
What am I binging?
Give me that look. Give me that look one more time.
I rewatched Game of Thrones.
Wow.
A number of documentaries.
Favorite character, real quick, on Game of Thrones.
Favorite character?
Don't say Tyrion because he's everybody's favorite.
Oh, he's not my favorite.
I on the count of 3, we're going to say our favorites.
Wait, give me a second.
All right, I am. I'm not going to do it right now. But
got it. Right.
All right, here's what's coming. We're going to go like this. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, the name. Gotcha. Ready? 1, 2, 3, Hound.
Tywin Lannister.
Ooh, wow. He was intense.
That icy cold stare. I would love to work with that man. I would love to work with
I would love to work with the Hound. You're a cunt. You're a cunt. You're a cunt.
Yeah, that was a good character.
Oh, the Hound. I just loved him. I just wanted him to. He was like just.
As if the better a person you were back then, the less your chances were of surviving.
Oh, yeah. That was such a good show. And people, criticize, even I did. I was like, what the hell happened in this final season? But I'll tell you what, there's a couple episodes in there that you're like, wow. So even if the final episode went to shit, it still was one of the best series, if not the best series of all time, if you ask me.
Now, you see, this is where I will disagree with a lot of people. I am the kind of person, look at any beloved series. It has to come to an end. Pardon me. It has to come to an end. Who has ever been happy with the end?
Jim Morrison.
Zing!
Hasn't this been great?
You asked me a question, but you also kind of told me how to answer it. So yes.
Is this great? Are you having a fun
It's been
time?
Great, hasn't it?
Well, I didn't say it like that.
Buddy, you look amazing. About 15 years ago, you stopped aging.
Yeah, right. I definitely don't think I look over my age, but I sometimes feel twice my age. Physically, sometimes.
My back will tell me to slow down every once in a while.
That's what happens. And I think, you always hear that. It's so cliche to hear from like your grandparents and your parents. Like, oh, I feel the same. I don't even know why I'm 70. I don't feel 70.
Tell me this.
It's true.
When you first started on Smallville, were you like, oh, I want to do my own stunts and all those things?
That was a problem. I did a lot of them. Yeah, I still feel it. Oh, yeah. I would always, even like on comedies and movies like Sorority Boys or this or Bringing Down the House or whatever, I would do my own stunts and I'd do pratfalls and after a while, I look back and I go, I wish I wouldn't have done all those things.
There was a bit you had in Sorority Boys.
You watched it?
Where you and the guys are fighting, and there's a moment where your character is truly upset about something. And he said, yeah, because I don't have calves like yours. Like you wear these shoes like a slut because I don't have your calves. Like but it was such a funny moment, but your character was so upset. Like the honesty in it. I thank you for mentioning Sorority Boys because
I don't think anybody saw it, but there are some people. It's a little occult.
Buddy, you are very good at your job.
Hey, I appreciate it. I look, you're obviously great at your job and people love you. And, you're really, I've always admired you and you've always been such a kind person. And I know we don't get to see each other a ton and maybe this is the first time in a while, but I hope I get to see a lot more of you. I think you're fantastic. And I wish you all the best, continued success. And, you got to give Jeff my love. And when this is over, I'd love to come and check out your collection of things at your house.
You got it, buddy. I love that it's been over 20 years and we're still connected. This tickles me.
I love it. Thanks for allowing me to be inside of you today, my friend. It's called Inside of You. Anyway, I haven't said that in a while. I thought I'd say it. See you, buddy.
Love you, man.
Love you too. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that, Nathan Fillion. Thank you again, everyone, for listening and subscribing and supporting the podcast, whether you like the guest or not, just listening to good conversations between two people and learning something. Hopefully that's what you're about. Thanks to all the patrons. Thanks for just being so supportive. I mean, it's really tremendous, and I hope it continues so I could do this forever, and you guys could be here forever with me. The handles are at Inside of You Podcast on
Instagram and Facebook.
And at Inside of You Pod on Twitter. I'm also at Michael Rosenbaum on Twitter. It wouldn't fit. So bum and the Michael Rosenbaum on Instagram. So that's it. Also, the Inside of You store, Inside of You online store. Lots of great stuff. We're almost out. I think we have like one tumbler left, couple of coffee mugs, but I'm getting new coffee mugs. They're being shipped here in a week. Tons of wine glasses, and they're pretty badass. And all this stuff, for the most part, once I get through it, I don't reorder. So there's still shirts and stuff available. So check that out. The 26th, December 26th at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m., we're doing a Stage It show, another one, our final one of the year. Rob and I playing some covers and music, maybe some holiday songs. But come on, follow us on Stage It. Go to stageit.com, type in Michael Rosenbaum, and you could follow me, and you'll be aware when we have shows. Here's the patron shout-outs. Can we have some dramatic music here? Dun, 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 dun. Here we go. Nancy D, Leah S, Trisha F, Sarah V, Little Lisa, Yukiko, Jill E, Brian H, Lauren G, Nico P, Robin S, Jerry W, Emily K, Robert B, Jason W, Stephen J, Kristen K, not Kristen Krug, Amelia O, Allison L, Jess J, Lucas M, Raj C, Joshua D, Emily S, CJ P, Samantha M, Jennifer N, Jackie P, Stacy L, Carly H, Jennifer S, Janelle B, Carrie B, Tabitha 272, not to be confused with
Tabitha 273,
Ashley R, Kimberly E, Crystal H, Mike E, Marissa N, Jack S. Jack S. No, Jack S. Slater. I love Slater. Ramira, Beth B, Santiago M, Sarah F, Chad W, Leanne P, Roshan R, Ray A, Maya P, Maddie S, Tiffany I, Kendrick F, Ashley E, Margie M, Shannon, Matt W, Belinda N, Kevin V, James R, Chris H, Anusha W, Osborne H, Gabby M, Dave H, Samantha S, Spider-Man Chase, Sheila G, not to be confused with
Sheila E.
Correct. Ray H, Alice, Alyssa C, Tabitha T, not to be confused with Tabitha 272. Misha H, Deb A, hi Deb, Tom N, Natalie 622, not to be confused with
Natalie 623.
That's right. Allie B, not to be confused with
Allie McBeal.
Allie G. I was hoping. Henry S, Katie F, Daniela V, Liliana A, Joseph C, Michelle K, Maddie Wags. You guys are all amazing, and couldn't do it without you. So thanks for your endless support. We had some new patrons that I messaged, and we got some new ideas maybe brewing for the new year. So, and then Bryce has something brewing for the end of the year. Big thanks to everybody for listening. Great guest coming up next week. Erica Durance, Lois Lane. Finally, she's on the show. It's going to be great. So make sure you tune in. And thanks for tuning in and supporting the podcast. From Ryan, myself, thanks for allowing me to be inside of all of you, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, guys. If I look tired, I am, so don't comment. He looked really tired. Are you okay, Michael? Yeah, I am. See you guys. I'm fine. I'm fine. It's been a fucking year. It's been a fucking long year.